I'm absolutely delighted to have Remeny with us today. How are you doing, Remeny?
Yeah, fine, thanks. Thanks so much for having me.
Fantastic. We'll dive right in. The goal of today's talk is to kind of talk about managing client relationships, particularly through this difficult time right now. A lot of people are unsure how to approach their clients. How do you have those difficult conversations, particularly when people are so worried about incomes and where their business is going to be in the next few months. So as I said, I'm delighted to have Remeny with us, who has a wealth of experience in client management. So let's get started, Remeny, and dive right in. So before we talk specifically about kind of the current situation, let's jump back a little bit and talk about basically client management and why it's so important. So obviously, Remeny, you've been in this industry for a number of years, and you know that implementing client management strategies is kind of an integral part of a successful business. So what would you typically do for a client? What would you suggest to someone, in terms of why they should look to have better client management? And, can you even give a specific example of where that's had a positive effect on a business you've worked with?
Yeah, no, of course. Well, obviously, your clients are your business, so it's really important to make sure that you have your everything you do should be at the center of your business. So try to be more client centric. So what I do with my clients is I try to understand what can be done to improve the relationships with the clients. It's all very, fairly obvious. Make sure your clients are happy. And the first thing you should do that I do with my clients is look at how that can be done by speaking to their clients. So, how can you serve your clients better? Well, talk to the clients and find out what could be done better. So typically I'll interview my clients and find out what's working and what's not. Look at things that can be improved. You can send forms out to people, but you just don't get as much out of it unless you're actually speaking and having conversations and getting the information that you can only get from actually having a conversation with your clients. So I'll ask a range of questions and find out what's working and look at ways of improving things. I also help businesses by putting processes in place so that they can actually look at how they can nurture the relationships with their clients better, and throughout their relationship from that first win through to their the end of a project, or ongoing when they leave and 6 months later or whatever it may be. I mean, one of the clients that I have worked with was a well-respected digital agency. They were, very good in their particular sector that they worked in. But after doing some client care calls for them, one of the things that kept coming up again and again tends to be the thing that I get with all my clients, which is, communication processes and proactivity could be improved. And so my client was brilliant, that they took all their clients' feedback on board and actually made changes and implemented changes to ensure that they actually met the requirements and the few complaints from their clients. And then 6 months, a year later, I then did more client care calls to find out how they were doing and what could be improved, and none of the same communication issues and process issues came up. What they wanted was a much more they wanted the business to be more strategic and consultancy led. So they then managed to put in a new stream of business, which meant that they made a 40% profit off the back of what their clients were actually asking for. So really valuable to actually speak to your clients and find out what they actually need going forward.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's something I think that a number of businesses miss. The initial offering, and you develop client relationships, but then you're not kind of checking back in 6, 12, 18 months and realizing, well, actually, the thing that they need now might have changed, and we can still offer that. So and it kind of leads quite nicely to my next question, because there's obviously a number of strategies to better manage client relationships. But for you personally, Remeny, with all your experience, kind of what do you believe works best and why? It seems like you're a big advocate of get on the phone and talk through, how can we help each other, and what are we missing?
I mean, you kind of said it, it's speaking to your clients. Be human and actually treat them like you want to be treated, and nurture them. Don't necessarily sell to them. Find out what is working for them, and work towards that. And actually, if you can get an impartial person to do it, you get a lot more honesty. If you can get them to actually do the interviews, because people, especially in England, can be so kind of shy about actually telling the truth, and actually they don't want to offend people. So if you get an outsider to do the interviews, you can get the real nitty gritty, and good, the bad, and the ugly, and that works much better. And the thing that I found that I get so excited about the client care interviews that I do is it helps businesses look at how they can develop their business strategy, their marketing strategy, what their messaging is. It can improve their processes, their products, their services, their teams, because you can nurture things and tweak things off the back of what's coming out of what the clients are saying. It's all about trust. If you can build the trust with your clients, they're going to like you more, and they're going to forgive you for when you mess up. Everyone makes the odd mistake. If you make a mistake, you admit to it. You're going to you can start building that loyalty by fixing and acknowledging what that might be. I've got one client I worked with that they had a big technology system and brilliant marketing team, brilliant sales team. They weren't delivering everything they were promising. So, when I did the client care calls, unfortunately, their client satisfaction scores was really low. It was about 22%. But actually, once I started to, they acknowledged what needed to be done and what needed to be changed. It improved their satisfaction level to 74% just in 4 months, and saved relationships. And I mean, they still need to be developing those relationships and working to it, but actually, again, it shows how important it is that if you listen to your clients, you can start making changes that can change your business completely.
Fantastic. And I think, that kind of leads through now to the current climate, right? We're in COVID-19, things are very difficult right now. A lot of businesses are unsure about the next moves, but naturally businesses still have to maintain client relationships. So obviously the way we manage our clients kind of has to change slightly over the next few weeks, months, and potentially even years. But to a business owner or a startup listening in right now, Remeny, how should they approach if they want to implement some type of client management strategy, or they think, okay, yeah, this is something I got to do. I have to speak to my clients. I have to kind of figure out what the next 3, 4, 6 months looks like. We got to have that difficult conversation. Kind of how should they approach that, and what are the types of conversations they should be having?
Well, first and foremost, be human. Just ring them up, make sure they're okay as people, and suggest a coffee and a chat. Again, don't try and sell. Show that you actually care about them, that you care about their business. And it's about relationships and nurturing relationships now. It might be that it would be a good idea to put a process in place so that we don't know how long this is going to go on, but actually make sure that you are touching base. And when when you have those conversations, you can develop that loyalty, again, that trust, which is so important. And then you can start to find out what issues they might have, what challenges they might have. It might be financial, it might be that they're losing clients. You don't know until you actually talk to them. It might be that you need to develop a service or something that you can do to help them, but just try to be helpful. Don't try to sell. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've not had a single supplier ring me to say, how are you doing? Is there anything we could do better? Or is there anything I can do to help you do whatever it is in your business? Or just me personally. And if they actually showed that they cared and they got in touch, I'd be like, wow. And I've spoken to other people and they've said, oh my God, if someone could actually engage with me and show that they actually cared and they don't just want my money, then I would be their loyal advocate for life. I've got a friend who was saying that her she's got a gym membership, and she's still paying £70 a month, but of course she's not going. They haven't rung her once. And actually, how difficult would that be for them? I doubt they're doing that much. How difficult would it be for them to actually engage with their clients and say, is there anything we can do to help you, whether or not it's putting your membership on hold, or rather than taking money for nothing, there might be something they can offer, classes or whatever, remotely. Make yourself of value in whatever way that looks. But I mean, the other thing to remember the impact of your call. Don't just call for calling's sake. Think about what's your intention of that call? It might be that you want to be telling them about an event you're doing or that you've heard about. It might be that you just want to offer help, you want to offer them a coffee, be a friend, whatever it might be. But think about the impact of what you're doing and what will your client feel at the end of that call. Think about that before you do that, because actually, how do you want to be remembered after the call and in the future? That will make a big difference in your relationship when we get out of this, because it's so, it's really important that you nurture those relationships in a way that is of value to them, that they remember, and they actually, you can build those fans and that loyalty just by being human and not pushing your own agenda, and just by listening. Things have changed. People's businesses have changed, their lives have changed, and they've got different challenges, from their personal challenges to their business challenges. Speak to them, find out what they are, and then it might be that you need to look at your own business and see how you can adjust it to support your clients, because unless you speak to them, you're not going to know what their problems are and what their challenges are, and how you can best fit them and help their needs going forward.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's kind of brings a good point as well. Like one of our partners, the Freelance Club, we've had such a good relationship with Matt and his team, through this difficult time, because they've just reached out and said, hey, like, how can we help each other? Like you're doing events, we're doing events, like, let's collaborate, let's cross promote. And it resonates, and you remember those people, and you want to help them, you want to keep that relationship up, particularly into the future. So yeah, it's kind of incredible, really. It's something so simple, but something people overlook it.
It's not rocket science.
No, exactly. Let's flip it now a little, Remeny, because at the same time, there's a delicate balance, right? Even when we talk to our clients, we still have to talk about money, right? We still have to talk about, there's a business relationship here, and yeah, we're both in an uncertain time, and kind of how does that look? So do you have any advice, for people who, obviously they want to have these conversations with their clients, obviously they want to help in any way they can, but at the same time, how do you kind of bring up money but not come off salesy, but also it's important that we talk about, can we keep this relationship going, into the future? Like, how do you define that balance? Because obviously it's very sensitive, and certain people can take things in certain ways.
I think, as I said, if you're talking to your clients and you're understanding them and you're understanding their needs and their challenges, hopefully that'll come out. And if there are ways you can help them, that will hopefully become obvious, and that will benefit you and benefit the client. But you also need to remember you do need to make money. We're all in business. We need to be making some money. We need to be building our business. We need to do new business, where we can, either new business or getting your clients to give you more business. But obviously things are different now, and we do need to address that. I think, things will hopefully come in time. Don't hard sell, but don't undercut yourself, don't undervalue your service. You still need to charge. It might be that you need to be a bit more flexible and offer a different payment plan, or talk to your clients about what the challenges are, whether or not you can do some work now, maybe in the future, or you bill them some now, some later. Don't apologize for needing to earn some money. That's just life. It's business. We need to be figuring out ways we can all do that. But equally, don't go in as a hard sell. So it is a difficult balance, but I think it's important to recognize that you, hopefully whatever you're doing is going to add value to them. And it might be you give an hour's free of your time, but then when it comes to the nitty gritty of actually needing to do the work, you've got to charge. And but work out what what the client needs, and go work with them rather than kind of at them.
Yeah, but don't be ashamed to have those conversations. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't ask, you don't get. Don't think, oh my God, I can't ring up my clients because they're going to think I'm selling at them. Actually, you probably can help them, and they'd be welcome the call. If they can't afford to use you now, they'll say so. Just have those conversations and see what happens.
Brilliant. And yeah, I think, leading on to kind of a couple of final points now, we're talking about, once the lockdown lifts, hang on a sec, there's someone who's coming in. There we go. once the lockdown lifts, things are not just going to go back to normal, right? The scientific evidence and the papers are there that this is this is going to be up and down. That there could be that obviously probably is going to be a second wave, and a lot of people talking about that's going to happen in the winter. So for businesses right now that don't have a process like this in place, or think yeah, okay, maybe I can do more to reconnect with my clients and talk about their needs. Obviously now is a great time to, if you do have extra time to put those foundations in place. So do you have any advice there, Remeny, for kind of how businesses can make this a more integral part of their day-to-day and their high level kind of sales and marketing plan? Is there any way you think you should just begin with, just like take all your clients, like make a big list, like go through it methodically? Do you think you should be more selective? What are your thoughts there?
I think use what you've got. I think use your existing clients, and look at how you can nurture those and develop those relationships. Don't forget, hopefully people have got old clients and old contacts and their LinkedIn lists, and there's lots of different places that you've probably got connections. Or that you've got more time now. You're not traveling. There's space for more coffees. Remote, and actually nurture those relationships, and as I say, be human. I think, if I'm honest, I think we should be preparing for the worst. I think we should be preparing for another lockdown. That's kind of my gut feeling for it. I mean, I hope we get out soon, and then if we have to go back, we've done it. We know what we've got to do. But if we're planning for the worst, then we can meet it head on. I think, one of the clients I'm working with now is they are doing that. But what they also want to do is they're looking at their marketing, how they can improve their marketing and their client processes. So one of the things I'm doing as part of the marketing project is I'm interviewing their clients, getting an understanding of their challenges so that they can then deliver to their clients' needs better. And then they can also look at so I'm also asking them about their services and their business pre-COVID, but that will feed into what can be done now, so that if they can understand what the issues are, they can change the way they do their business for the future, and
So that
then they can
when
deliver
the
better.
next wave comes, yeah, they're a lot more prepared for, like lack of, like the same problems won't reoccur, so it's like
Yeah,
a learning process, right? You can use
yeah.
this to implement a much better strategy later in the year.
Yes, and actually, some businesses are, um, have lost clients, or their clients have put them on hold. So it is a really difficult time, but actually, there's time. Maybe use the time to make some changes and develop things, and that when part of it is nurturing the relationships. But look at your marketing, look at your business, and look at the things that you don't often have the time for. If you have the time, then do it, and make the changes. But I think for me, the biggest thing I think people should be doing is think about their clients and their clients' challenges, and then how can you meet those challenges head on to actually help them, and then that'll help you. So that's what I would do.
Brilliant. Well, Remeny, we've covered quite a bit there with those questions. Just quickly before we open the room to questions from the audience, could you just kind of sum up the main points that we've just covered, around client management and the systems to put in place?
So I think just rattling off, probably repeating myself, but be as helpful as possible, show you genuinely care, set intentions for your client engagement, but think about the impact you're going to have and how you're going to make them feel. How do you want to be remembered in the future? Think about your clients as your friends. Find out how they are, how you can help them, what do they actually need. Learn about your clients' challenges and consider how to adapt your business to meet those challenges. Be flexible, build trust with your clients in everything you do. Don't undercut yourself, don't undersell yourself, and think about how you want to be remembered and how you want to be engaging with your clients in the future.